All right. We got to keep up the speed with this one. Thought it was over, huh? We saw the footage. LeBron James ran down on Stephen A. Smith courtside. Yo, keep my son's name out your. You know what I mean? I did a good stream on that, man. I try to be very, very fair. I try to call a spade a spade. I called it down the middle. I said, in my opinion, both men were right. You know what I'm saying? I broke down Stephen A. Smith's side. I broke down LeBron James' side. We played footage from both sides. We kept it fair. Now, Stephen A. Smith has further responded. See, here's the thing about a Stephen A. Smith response. We know he just signed a $100 million deal, right? Stephen A. Smith is like the pinnacle poster child for a corporate America ladder climber. And I mean that in a positive way, okay? I don't mean that in some shucking and jiving type of stuff, even though he has a reputation sometimes. That's another conversation for another time. But when he responded on ESPN, of course, that's going to be filtered. Then he responded again on his own podcast. I expected a little bit more edge there, but he kept it kind of laid back. Here now on Gilbert Arenas platform, this boy went off. And dare I say, he's turning the tide a little something. Let's check this out.
What do you make of LeBron confronting you in the aftermath of that situation?
I thought it was weak. I thought it was some bullshit. But
I ain't say that before.
In the moment, I knew that I was listening to a father. Here's what happened. I'm represented by William Morris Endeavor. The founder of William Morris Endeavor, Ari Emanuel, had courtside seats right next to the Lakers bench. He had Larry David with him, star of Curb Your Enthusiasm. I'm sitting with them. I get there in the first quarter. I'm sitting courtside, and I stand up, and then I got my head turned. And then I turned back around, and a lot of people thought this was the end of the game or something like that. This was in the third quarter. Apparently, LeBron had walked out of the timeout, and I turned around, and he's right here in my face. He said, yo,
peekaboo.
You got to stop talking shit about my son. You got to stop fucking with my son. That's my son. That's my son. And I was like, what? He said, nah, fuck that. I said, yo, let's talk later. He's like, fuck that. Nah, fuck that. You got to stop fucking with my son. And I said, all right, though. And he walked off. So
I ain't gonna lie, man. In that situation, a father getting revved up like that, if Stephen A. Smith might have said something or combated that from LeBron, that's the type of shit a nigga put his hands on you. We glad Stephen A. Smith kept his cool.
I remember during a timeout in the first quarter, seeing Bronny. And Bronny looked over at me, and he had this sad look on his face. And I'm imagining Pop saw that shit. It hit him. And he couldn't hold it, and he rolled up on me. And so when I went on the air the next morning, first thing first, believe it or not, I know this is shocking for people to believe, but I didn't have any intentions on talking about it until I woke up that morning and saw that the shit had gone viral. Once the shit had gone viral, the bosses at ESPN, now you got to talk about it. This is you and him. You got to talk about it. I said, fine. So I go on the air and I said, the first thing that I'm going to do is establish that this was a father talking to me, not a player. And that was what threw me off. And I was glad, even though I thought that he misrepresented the argument, I was glad he did. Because you see, what he was really talking about, which was confirmed with his conversation with Richard Jefferson, is that I was talking about him as a father. And so what happens is that had he said that to me, then I wouldn't have been thrown off. I'd have came right back at him. Yes, I was. I was talking about you. You did this shit, which I'll get to in a second. But because he didn't do that, I said, fine, you let it go. Mind you, I just agreed to my contract. Courtside. That day was when it was announced. It's all over, everywhere. I mean, right? It's a nationally televised game. The cameras are rolling. And I'm like, if I do anything, this is going to be a scene. Now, we can sit up here in front all we want to and act like we don't work for somebody. Damn it, I work for Walt Disney. And if I had gotten into some shit with him at courtside right there at that moment, no matter how right I would have been, it would have been wrong. And I was like, I'm not going to do this. But once I saw the tape of him talking to Richard Jefferson Saturday night in Boston, that was when I got really pissed because that was confirmation.
That's the
now
trigger.
Let's get to the father thing. And I want,
that's the trigger,
and I
right
definitely,
there.
I'm so glad y'all asked me about this shit because
that's why he went
all
up.
I would ask is that I've been around for 30 years. Tell me the parent that said they heard me talking about them. I've never done it. What happened was this man was the one that said, you want me, draft him. I'll come play anywhere he's at. It ain't even about the money. This man is the one who said he's better than some of the NBA players are right now when he was in high school. If you go back and look at the tape, back then I said, stop. You can't do this. If you do that shit, you're bringing more pressure on your son. LeBron, stop. I said it then. This is before he got drafted. Stop doing this. He goes to USC. He got the heart ailment. I'm like, thank God he's okay. He gonna be all right. But I'm not gonna go see him at USC, just like I didn't go see him at Sierra Canyon, because like I ain't see Melo's son. I heard your son is all world. I ain't see him. Your son, I never saw these guys until they came pro, because I know. No, it's not that. Okay. I know that because of who I am and what I've established for myself in this industry, if I walk into an arena, everybody is looking for me to critique that person. And I don't want to do that because they want to come up. I'm not covering college. I'm covering pro.
And they kids.
Huh? And they kids. What I'm saying, but if I was a college reporter, then I would have to, but I wasn't. So why am I going to be there? I didn't want to put that.
Third round.
So I never went. I went on national television and announced to the world, I'm not going to see him. He goes to USC. I'm not going to see him. It's too much. It's too much. And then now he's got to overcome this heart ailment. So I can't judge him. But then they said, oh, he going pro. So then once you say he's going pro, okay, you're talking to the scouts and the evaluators and everybody else. Yo, man, this is them. He'll be lucky to be a second round pick. He'll be lucky. He ain't ready, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I ain't seen him, y'all. I haven't seen him. Then all of a sudden, Rich Paul and others at Clutch. And then the story headlines follow. Boston might be interested. Golden State might be interested. Phoenix might be interested. Clippers might be. You start hearing all of this and you're like, all right, this could be true or this could be them wielding their magic to make it look such a way. I say nothing. He gets drafted by the Lakers, which everybody knew was going to happen because, the skids were greased, and he gets drafted. I still say nothing. He goes into the pro. It's open tonight. Now, remember.
Pardon, even though he's in the middle of a third round, even him making it to the Lakers, like that's a part that he left out right there, whether he just left it out or whether he was being respectful again. But remember, people, there was reports that, Rich Paul and the powers that be put it out to the other NBA owners and scouts and GMs, don't touch Bronny in the draft. Like he's coming to the late. Don't touch him in the draft. Like, oh, Steven's he's in the third round right now. I ain't gonna lie, y'all.
Most cats talk about the league. I cover it. What I mean by that is that you can give your opinion. You might not be on the phone with the commissioner. You might not be on the phone with the executive VP. You might not be on the phone with other people that work in these offices. I am. So because of
talk, Steve. I'm sorry. He's in the third round right now. It's true. Like if you watch yesterday's stream that I did, when I got towards the end of my stream and I did a battle rap topic, you have to know when somebody like me is talking about battle rap business and politics, whether I say names or I say the situation or not, there's actual even deeper facts embedded in it that I'm not further exposing. I might have spoken to this battle rapper, this league owner, and I might not say that and put that out there, but I'm taking my experience and the phone calls and the text messages that I got, and I'm putting something together, and I'm just like, listen, people, interpret. Like, it's no different for this $100 million signing deal, Stephen A. Smith. He's one of the biggest guys in this field. The owner, just like the bloggers or the media or the battlers or whoever talked to me, it's the same thing with him. They know he's going to sit his ass on ESPN every fucking morning and break down the news or give his reaction or speak about his opinion. The owners is in his ear. The GMs is in his ear. The players is in his ear. The scouts. Blah, blah, blah. Let me let you know this, man, before you get up on your show and say this. So anything that he said around Bronny the whole fucking time has been manipulated to play the game in the respect of, I can't say that I heard that this button is being pushed, but yeah, all right, I heard he's coming to the Lakers. It's real shit. And now he's up on Gilbert Arenas spilling it all. Like, nah, fuck that. Y'all try to embarrass me? I bet. Oh, shit.
To that, I'm hearing all of this. Yeah, you know, we just gonna go along with it. Open the night I'm talking about. Open the night. And Bron, we just gonna go along with it. Or you hearing the Lakers are just going along with it. You're hearing this stuff. Now, I'm not saying they told me that, meaning the commissioner or Jeannie Buss, but I'm saying you're hearing that from those organizations. So I'm getting all of this. I still say nothing. I'm cool. I'm at crypto.com arena. I'm one of those cats standing. Ken Griffey, Steve Griffey, Senior, Junior, who all stars, Hall of Famers, and Ken Griffey Jr. They got them there. And again, I've been covering it for 30 years, not NBA sports. You understand? So how you think it's all looking to me? It's a little bit too choreographed. But I'm still, I'm still like this. Congratulations. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm thinking, let's have this moment because LeBron deserves it. The brother, I got him number 2 all time behind Jordan, right? He's done so much for the league. He's generated so much money. I want to hear about Bronny and the $8 million. As far as I'm concerned, LeBron underpaid. This shit, that's $8 million he should have had in his pocket. It's no big.
Third round. Oh my God. Despite what I know, this whole scene, this whole setup, all the people that's in the building, you know, a couple people was greased in a way. This is all choreographed, but I've been in the NBA 30 years. I know what's going on. I'm gonna play the game. It's all good. I'm gonna stand up when the cameras is cut on in between commercial break. Let's go, Bronny. $8 million might be overpaid for a second round, whatever, and not even the greatest player by the scouts and for what we already know coming in and what we're already hearing coming in. But you want to know what? Get a man his money. You want to know why? Because LeBron has done so much for the league. He's made so much money for the league, billions of dollars for the league. As far as we're concerned, LeBron is underpaid. Go ahead and give it a playing the game. Playing the game. Imagine if he could say this on ESPN. Oh,
big deal to me. But the one thing I did say was that one game right there is the moment. Now you got to go to the G League and earn your stripes. Instead, he's playing and playing and playing. And I'm getting stats. And he go against Philly. They put him in the first quarter. And Tyrese and them gave it to him. And then they plaster on SportsCenter 0.3 points, 0.3 rebounds, 0.4 assists, blah, blah, blah. And I said, damn. Why? Because I'm like, now I can't ignore it. Because how am I doing my job? If now you put me in a position where because they put the stats up, everyone is blowing it up. They're putting it on all their social media pages. And it's like, how all of that's happening? But Stephen A. Smith got nothing to say. I can't get away with it no more. So I go on the air and I say the same thing I said over the summer. Yo, LeBron, if we see this, you're his dad and you're a basketball savant. You must see this.
Yo, he is killing this. This is such a perfect breakdown thus far. There's more to come. But the reason why he's also right there is because how often do I say, we said it to Cameron the other day, I say it about me and the topics that I choose, especially as it relates to some of my peers in the battle rap space. We say you got to keep your credibility to the best of your ability. You got to keep your credibility. Like, will I apply my bias at times? We're all human. I'm going to keep it real, people. Come on, I ain't going to lie to y'all. But we got to stay as close to maintaining our credibility as possible. The difference between somebody like me, a podcaster, or somebody from the battle rap space, or like, let's say, a Stephen A. Smith, the big difference there is he's required to be there on ESPN and cover these topics every single day. It's his salary. It's his job. Me, if some big news happens, like let's say on Ill Will, and it's some negative, wild, and it's, I don't have to cut this camera on. I maintain my credibility then. Because instead of coming on camera and say, oh, nah, he didn't do it, blah, 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 and the whole world is like, what? Hey, yo, what are you talking? I know that's your man, but what are you talking about? I don't got to cut the camera on. I could just like, oh, I ain't going near it. And I'm not required to be here every single day and talk. He has to. So what? We're going to be talking about one of the biggest storylines in current year and recent years history. LeBron James and his son, Bronny, playing for the Lakers on the same team, father, son. And Stephen A. Smith got to sit up there and just be like, oh, word, that happened? Oh, no, I missed last night's game. My bad. But can we fast forward to talk about Embiid? Yo, he's in a bad spot, man. He played the game the whole time until the first night. After the first game, all the stats are being plastered all over the place. And I was like, hey, Stephen A. Smith, so what's your take? He's like, damn. Am I supposed to still like I get it, man. I just get it. That's the thing.
Don't do this. You because you're putting him under such a microscope. It's gonna be too much for him to overcome. Give him a chance. So that's what I said. And because I prefaced it by saying, as a dad, the only reason I said as a dad is because you marketed yourself as his dad to help him get into the league.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't do that. Melo didn't do that, or hasn't yet, and I know he wouldn't.
D-Wade,
Tim Hardaway Sr., Rick Barry, the list goes. None of them did that. None of them. He's the only one. And I said, yo, that's why I'm saying this to you. I don't want to do this. I know your intentions are honorable. Go back and watch the whole tape of me saying it. I know your intentions are honorable. I know you don't mean harm. But there's some vultures out here, and they're going to come for him. And how many times over the years, to get to your point, in terms of what you asked me about what you expect from me, Stephen A., blah, blah. I mean, find the brothers.
The vultures out here and the father putting that type of pressure. We did see it before. The only difference is it wasn't father, son, both as players. The Ball family. When the first Ball came into the league, he was attacked by all the other because they wanted to shut his father up. It's real what Stephen A. is saying.
In the industry that will tell you, I did not give them a lookout. I go up to them all the time. Yo, come here. I'm not going to be able to help you if you get to this point. You need to stop this shit right now because it's coming. It's coming. That to me is where I reach back and I pay back by giving cats the heads up of the minefield because I've been here for 30 years. I got fired. I lost my job. They thought my career was over. I've been through all of this shit, all of it. And I'm like, yo, I know where the minefields lie. And I'm telling you what's coming. And then this shit go down and everybody act like I never said none of this. I said, this is fucked up. Because if you go, it's all on tape. If you go back, I gave the heads up.
That's too easy for people to do. That's too easy for people to do.
So we shouldn't uplift our kids? Like, we can't
I'm sorry, I
talk
couldn't
about...
hear you. You said what?
We can't uplift our kids? We can't say he's better than some of the players.
But you gotta be truthful.
Boom. Perfect answer. Yeah. Yeah. So to that nigga Kmart. Kenya Martin, people. Yeah, but you gotta be truthful. There's another piece we're going to get into for a second. I just want to say real quick, people, in between, because there's more that we're going to fast forward to. Stephen A. continues. He is in such a classic third round right now. He's blacking out. He does this naturally. Stephen A. Smith, he's in one of the positions that he's in, not just because he's one of the ultimate corporate America ladder climbing navigators. He knows how to navigate the game, but he's a talented speaker, right? He's not the best analyst in the world, the best speaking when it comes to breaking down, like in some of those segments. I said the other day, I said Wendy blows him out the water when it's time for Wendy to speak. But Stephen A. Smith is a very talented communicator, still very talented. And I don't think that this is prepped. I don't think he said, I'm going on Gilbert Arenas. Okay, let me just study. I gotta say it. This is all in flight. These are the type of people you never want to put on the stand. If you're going at them, you never want this type of person. Like, fuck. Stephen A. Smith is up there. He is breaking this down in a way that it's almost undisputable. No pun intended. It's undisputable, B. Like, I stand on my original statement, my Instagram post, from a standpoint of fatherhood and history. I stand on, if you are a parent, your job is to put your child in a spot that is not at the starting line. If you have that ability, that is one of your jobs. One of your jobs is to try to hand down and give your child as much as possible, put them in a position to be successful. There's nothing wrong with giving your son or your daughter a business, stocks and bonds, real estate, a savings account. There's nothing wrong with that. That is a beautiful thing. All parents should strive to do that. I stand on that. I'm proud that LeBron James used his career, his hard work, his legend, his fame, his power, all of this to get his son into the league. I'm proud of all of that. But two things can be true. You did that? Okay, cool. Now sit your ass on the bench now, or go down to the G League and keep getting better, or whatever the case may be. Or don't even get drafted. Don't even clear the lane and put him on the Lakers. Just get him into the league, whatever it's gonna be. But the opening night, and then the pushing and the force feeding and going. There's a way to do it. LeBron, he did it on 10. If you want me, draft Bronny. He did it on 10. Multiple things could be right at the same time. Stephen A. Smith in this breakdown is so right. He is so right. I really, really wish he could have said something, broke this down on ESPN when he did his initial response, because he got up there like, man, I understand. I get it. That's a father that approached me. This is the third round he had walking around in his notebook, man. I'm telling you. So let's move forward to this piece again. He's not done snapping. Hold on. I think it's around this piece right here. All right, let's go.
For anything, right?
Right.
For anything.
But here's what he's saying. He said any team, right? Which means that when we're talking about the Lakers, that's about LeBron, not Bronny. Bronny wanted to get drafted by any NBA team. He wanted to hear his name. It was LeBron that wanted him as his teammate. So what I'm saying is, because of the reasons you pointed out. So what I'm saying to you is, if LeBron had rolled up on me, this is all he had to say. Because I said this to Rich Paul when Rich Paul called me. I said, Rich Paul, I only asked for grace on one point. If you had called me and said, Bron, pissed off, motherfucker mad as hell, he wants to see you man to man. I said, what would I have done? Rich Paul said, you'd have hung up the phone and you flew to LA. I said, thank you. So my point is, rather than come up to me at courtside, all you had to do was say, yo, I need you to stay. Don't leave this game. I need you to see you after the game. That's all he had to say to me. Then as we speak, he says that. Let's take an example. He said what you just said. Yeah. I stand down. My bad. And not only that, I'm going to make sure I go on the air. I ain't look at it that way. That's on me. You didn't do that shit. You said you fucking with my son. No, I wasn't. I was talking about you. I was talking about you. It wasn't about your son. I know he's number 55. I know he got work to do. I believe that he got potential. Yeah. I believe that he got the potential to go pro. I truly believe that. It's going to be tough, but I think he can pull it off. And by the way, I'm rooting for him. I ain't rooting against nobody. But I'm talking about your ass. You did this. You the one that had us as reporters, as a league, as an NBA franchise. All of us got to sit back and be quiet and capitulate to your shit.
Come on now.
You did that. And so when I see people talking, and I'm like, oh my God, can somebody? I mean, I know I got a show, and I know I got my podcast, but I'm like, God damn, y'all, I'm fair. I don't give a fuck who it is. It's you. It don't matter who it is. Damn it, I'm just meeting you. If somebody unfair to you, I'm going to be like, that's not fair. That's not fair. But when it comes to me, everybody get crickets. That motherfucker Stephen A. on his own. That, respectfully, excuse my language, that's fucked up. I'm on my own. When number one, we know I'm right. Number two, we know the perspective that I'm coming from is real and it's authentic. Number three, he set this up. Number four, all you had to do was tell me. Listen, Kenya told me, you keep talking about, I'm bringing this up for all fun. He talked about how he approached me in Puerto Rico. I swear to God, I don't remember. I swear to God. Probably. But I know this much.
But you do.
And let me tell you what I did. I was writing for the Philadelphia Inquirer. This is from 1993 to 2010. Shit, I said, what the fuck are you talking about? I called Philadelphia Inquirer. I said, I called my research, look up the archives. I want every goddamn article I wrote about Kenya Moore. I don't know what he's talking about, right? Because I'm looking at articles. I said, I knew that brother was a stud. I knew that brother deserved his money. What the Nets? Where the Nets go? Nets ain't going to fucking back-to-back finals without you. I'm like, I know. What is he talking about? You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking for the shit, and I found some shit where you got it was some shit with Byron Scott or whatever. But I don't know. But I'll take your word for it. My point is, Kenyon Martin would talk about, I rolled up on Stephen A. I'm like, he ain't the only one. There's plenty of motherfuckers that rolled up on me. Glenn Robinson and I mean, butt heads because I thought he got Randy Ayers fired. I couldn't stand his ass. Let me tell you. I mean, it got to a point where
this part right here that he's breaking down, y'all, and that was like the last piece. I think the highlight there that's important is the same way LeBron James deserves for what he did for the world of sports, not just Cleveland. What he did, hold on, let me slow down and go back. I had a blog channel. It wasn't even this channel. It was called like ARP Blog Spots, like maybe like 7-8 years ago. If you ever come across a video of like what's a better movie, Boys in the Hood or Menace to Society, That blog that I did is on that channel. Very, very throwback, old. I probably don't even have any facial hair when I did it. I don't have a beard. I did that one there. I did another video. Your pussy if you have security, and I broke down like what it means to be at a certain stature and be responsible for a certain amount of people walking around in a certain type of response and keeping a medium and extra defense around you doesn't mean that you won't do the same thing your security guard won't do, right? And I gave examples like of like Eminem and Benzino. Benzino saying stupid shit like you got security. I'm like, it's Eminem. Like he should. It's smart. He's responsible for a lot of people. He's responsible for his family. He's taking care of himself. You're not pussy. It's a bad urban community misconception and ignorant way of thinking. I also went into LeBron James. This is the relevance here. I went to LeBron James. I said, you know how much LeBron James is worth, right? And you don't have to be worth $1 billion to walk around with security, right? But I'm like, do you realize? I brought up the stats, like what he did for Cleveland, like just him playing there, like all the surrounding retail and stores and commercialism. His impact there is incredible, and he won a chip there. Right? He went back there and brought his whole draw and his whole power back to Cleveland again and raised the whole place, right? No different than when he went to Miami Heat. The whole world stopped. He went and did a whole fucking press conference about it. I'm taking my talents to South Beach, right? Then to the Lakers, the biggest, top 3 biggest sports team franchises in sports history, right? What he even brings to the team is through the roof. Then above the team, the league, what he did for the NBA. Jordan did it, Magic did it, Larry did it, Allen. These are people, even Vince Carter. When you see we talking this morning, when you see a Vince Carter who is not a good sports announcer, who doesn't speak that well when it's time to cut on the camera and be a sports analyst, but when you still see him in that seat, he's being taken care of by the NBA. That's what that be for these people. They're being taken care of sometimes. Because if we remember, Vince Carter at a time had the league from an excitement standpoint on his back. It was just about cutting on ESPN or watching the game and seeing whatever dunk contest, in-game dunk he did last night. That's what Vince Carter did. Vince Carter is the best in-game dunker of all time. That's what Vince Carter brought while he was in his heyday on the Toronto Raptors. These people, and he's nowhere near what LeBron has brought to the league. What he has brought to the league, then you could go above, you go team, you go surrounding area of the team, city, state, you can go NBA, then you can go world of sports, period. The global. Somebody like a Kobe Bryant that goes overseas and speaks other languages and all this shit. And in China, how they gravitate to him. Global sports world. LeBron deserves even more. He deserves his other son to be in the NBA, get an opportunity as well. If you could put Vince Carter on as a sports announcer, and he's not a good sports announcer, you could put Bryce in the NBA as well. I don't care if he's the 10th man on the bench. The point that I'm making is about what somebody deserves and somebody's impact. Right now, I said all of that about LeBron. The same thing applies to Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith's impact on the world of sports journalism. He's the biggest guy there, I believe, for a reason. He may not be the best analyst in a lot of people's eyes, but he just signed that $100 million deal for a reason. His draw, his power. Behind the scenes, he has his little reputations of getting into with people, and he's the reason why Max got cut out and all this type of stuff. And cool, he's helped out a lot of people too. Why don't you go ask Shannon? He helped out a lot of people too. It's a powerful voice, a powerful guy, and I gave that whole breakdown right there to say Stephen A. Smith did deserve different from LeBron courtside. He did. He's earned it. That's the spot that now the emotional tie of father-son, that's the justification. That's the part that we all understand. Even Stephen A. Smith understands it. But as far as like I'm building up, and when I see this, I gotta have and here's another factor. damn, LeBron. Here's another factor. LeBron, over the course of his career, he's looked at like a golden boy, right? Why is it such big news for Drake and academics to start pre-exposing if he's cheated on his wife or anything? Why is that even a big deal? Why? Would that be a big deal if it was like Shaq? No, because we see Shaq on these yachts with all these different girls, or we see him with hoops, or like we see Shaq moving around doing his bachelor thing, right? LeBron has the golden image. So news like that goes crazy, goes viral. Along with maintaining a golden image like that for so long, he is so media trained. He is so in control of himself off court and on court too. You don't go that long and stay in that type of stature without all this mud on you unless you know how to move and navigate. So the father-son thing is probably the only thing that LeBron has showed his Achilles heel, that I can't control myself or be politically correct or be this media darling in this moment. But I'm still surprised because it's not like last night Stephen A. Smith said what he said, and here he is today in front of me. Here's my opportunity. No, this was something that was building up, hence him starting the conversation saying, leave it between me and you. This is something that was building up. So LeBron being as trained as he's been over his whole career, I am surprised that him or Rich Paul didn't put a call into Stephen A. Smith, given that Stephen A. Smith is the size of media impact that he is. Private call. Let's set it up. Let's have a meeting. Let's meet after the game. Fly in, come see me. I'm going to stand on Bronny should be there as per what his father's job and what his father did. I'm not talking about how good of a player he is. I'm going to stand on that. I'm also going to stand on, I understand LeBron's invoking of his emotions from father-son. But everything else, Stephen A. Smith just exposed the shit out of LeBron. I'm sorry. Sorry, it's true. We're going to call a spade a spade. Oh, man. All right, let's move on. I have one more that's hitting the airwaves and it's gotten a lot of interesting to people. It's not in the title. Don't be surprised, people, if that's what you start to see these days on the podcast, which is you'll see thumbnails and you may see you'll see titles that are the main topic, because see we're over 30 minutes in and I felt real passionate at the end, as you see, about that Stephen A. Smith and LeBron thing. But I may have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other topics. They may not be in the title. It's not easy to put 5 or 6 things in a title. It's not even good for YouTube, to be honest. So, we're going to have our core topics, but the thumbnails, I'm going to do my best to let you guys know what else is going on. And even if the thumbnail has one topic that matches the title, just know the way that I run this podcast over here, we may jump into other stuff that's not in the title and that's not in the thumbnail. Okay. So keep an eye out like that. I'm going to try to bring y'all up to speed on how we move and as we continue to, streamline this situation in this podcast, and we're building as much as possible. Okay. Now, the Just Hilarious and the Breakfast Club thing, it's been on my radar for weeks. It's been on my personal radar for months. Reason being is let's call a spade right off the rip. It is very, very easy to see the difference between Just Hilarious as a host or as a participant on the Breakfast Club versus her now counterpart, Lauren. I forget her last name. It's very clear to see the difference of how they deliver, how they report, how they read. And it sometimes puts you in a spot, knowing the history of the Breakfast Club, of the shakeup that was going on, the difference in the staff when they was in that hiring process when Just Hilarious first came in. Even before Just Hilarious came in, I believe that we was hearing about a lot of shakeup and possible movement or whatever after the DJ Envy controversy, the real estate controversy with the guy, what was his name, Caesar or whatever. Haven't heard shit about that since. It's probably still ongoing behind the scenes, but it hasn't been made any headlines, so we left it alone. But I'm pretty sure that's still going. I wouldn't be surprised unless a bunch of civil suits got settled. Who knows? But anyway, even around that time, we heard a lot of shakeup at the Breakfast Club, and they're still going through changes. You got your Charlemagne the God, He's a pinnacle there. He's a staple. And you got your DJ Envy. He's a staple. Anybody else to me is interchangeable, whether it's Lauren, whether it's Jess or Guest. That's obviously what we're seeing. Okay, you got your staples. This is what carries the show. This is what builds up the fan expectation. These are the two biggest talents and the two biggest names. Everything else can move around. It is corporate America, people, at the end of the day. Okay. Just hilarious, especially after coming back from maternity leave. This girl, Lauren, has really exposed the difference of quality or ability. I don't know. I'm trying to be sensitive here. I don't got no issue with Jess Hilarious. Shout out to Jess Hilarious, but that's the truth, right? Now, Jess Hilarious back and forth and beef with Corey Holcomb. It's been in the news headlines for a long time. You can consider it comedian beef. There's also personal vibes tied to it as well. I've seen it. Once again, wasn't really a news topic for me. But the Breakfast Club being what the Breakfast Club is, one of the biggest outlets that we pay attention to, it pushes the rank up of the news a little bit. And I believe now this Corey Holcomb and this Jess Hilarious stuff is coming to a head. And the reason why it's interesting to me is because when you pay attention to corporate America, when you pay attention to another piece of this, which is somebody with a voice continuing to be on your heels with any levels of truth that fans will continue to pick up, it's a problem for you. For example, DJ Academics and Meek Mill. DJ Academics has a very big media platform and journalistic platform. Meek Mill is an artist, obviously, that's making a lot of money in the industry. Got to put out albums, wants to have music reviews. His moves, industry-wise and business-wise, will always be in the public spotlight. Now, they have a personal issue, right? So Academics, anytime Meek Mills makes a move in the industry, anytime he puts up a tweet, Academics is going to react to it. He's going to put a negative light on it, right? To the point where how many dream chasers or managers from Meek Mill's side have had conversations with Meek Mill, right? It's because it's like, well, wait a minute, this is an impact on us. This is a bad effect. So when somebody with a voice or a platform continues to stay on you, eventually you got to figure that out, right? Lil Baby just went through that with Academics as well, to the point where Q, the CEO, got on the phone with Academics. These people don't get on the phone with you unless you need to. It's no different than even over here. I interviewed Oskino. He shoots me his number. Hey man, like me and you, I want to talk. Because they see the voice, or they see the podcast, or they see the platform. And you don't want somebody like me who's here at 6 a.m., with a smaller platform. Even still, every day, you suck. You lose all your battles. You're the worst. Your rounds are garbage. Sooner or later, it's going to have an impact on you, especially if I have some truth in my shit, right? And now that Corey Holcomb has the ammo of showing what a lot of people already see, the disparity between Lauren and Jess. This war, man. And I guess what early prediction is, we wouldn't be surprised if Jess is no longer at the Breakfast Club sooner or later. And that's not what I'm wishing on her, but this is why these type of topics become interesting to me.
Yeah. Like the comedian that I had problems with, the less hilarious girl.
Right.
It all started when she bust down naked with her child on the internet.
Right.
She had a picture where she was basically naked and had the little boy naked, basically. And ever since then, she's talked about everything but that.
Right.
Found ways to say, Corey opened up for me. Corey did all lies. Why are you lying? And now I heard some shit about her up at the Breakfast Club.
She got to do some shit.
Well, this is what happened at the Breakfast Club. She took that job. She got that job because I think she had a social media presence. I can't imagine why else.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah.
So she got that job. And I always said she wasn't talented. She got the job and got knocked up shortly afterwards. And the worst thing in the world happened. They brought in somebody who was talented.
Who they bring in?
Homegirl from she used to be on TMZ.
Yeah.
Oh.
She has experience with doing that. When she talks, her voice, I don't know her name.
Yeah.
The girl who is Lauren. That girl know what she's doing. She knows how to fit in with Charlemagne and the other guy, DJ Envy. It's like it's seamless when she there.
Right.
It's the talent. The talent shows out, and then Les Hilarious ain't even reading right. I'm like, so it's a problem now. Cause when she go, it's just like when a nigga with a horse dick fuck your woman who got an elephant pussy. And you working with pit bull dick. Even though you got bite, goddammit.
Even though you Jack Rabbit.
Right. Whatever you do, it's gonna be something missing when they see this. That's what happened on stage when she performs. I'm talking about Les Hilarious. And now she had a job where all she had to do was deliver the news. She had a segment on The Breakfast Club. The other girl who has experience and talent at this job took her segment. Right. Not because she tried to, it's just you saw somebody who's talented. And then you see, read that, Les Hilarious.
And she stood in for her when she took off maternity leave.
When she stood in for Les Hilarious, you should have had your baby on camera at The Breakfast Club.
Oh my God. Yo, that's what I mean by, whatever beef that y'all had, when somebody has now other ammo to use that other people can see, right? Now I had to go back and say, like, is this like, how long has this been going? I want to find something that even Jess might have said in his direction. It's been going on for a while with these two.
The person that always does this shit, like all the time. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. And the only way that you can actually ever get to him, to talk to him, is if you pop up on him. Because even in my experience, I mean, I'm talking about this person has talked about me years and years and years, tried to apologize to another comedian. Nah, don't send me D-Ray to apologize to me. Right. I want you to apologize to me as a mother because of the shit you said about my son. You know what I'm saying? Then I had to call you. Cause I'm talking about block my number out to call you, and you answer the phone like, who this? You know what I'm saying? And then you apologize. Right. And then I would have never made those comments about you had I knew you were a comedian. Well, what that got to do with me being a comedian?
So he has apologized to you before?
He has on the phone, and then later,
it's a whole different story.
You get on that mic again on the show or whatever, on your podcast show, which is like the only thing you have. You know what I'm saying? And you talk about me again. You talk about me again. You talk about. So he cannot leave our names and the names of the greats and the name of the people that he cannot beat on a Netflix, on anything else in any other realm out of his mouth. He can't do that. So that's all he has is that mic and that donor and in that cold corner. Right. You know,
without anybody being able to respond. Right. Without having an opinion of
the person that.
Okay, yeah, I just brought it up because I never seen it before, and I'm gonna bring it up here with y'all. So now listening to her, I got more context again. So he, as a comedian, it seems like this is what I'm grabbing right now. He, as the roots of this, he as a comedian had something to say about a picture that she took with her son that he thought was inappropriate. As she said, and from her side of it, they spoke in private, and he said, I would have never ragged on you or whatever, unless if I knew you was a comedian. So I apologize. What is the difference between whether I'm a comedian or not? I guess you would say, I guess that would interpret as, I really feel this way about this picture or what you did or what I saw, but the comedian to comedian camaraderie, I would have left you alone. That's my only guess, but I want to pull it up for myself, and I don't think that YouTube would have an issue with this. I don't think so, because I really can't, you don't see anything. So, but this is, I literally just pulled this up. This is, I guess where it started. Comedian's nude photo shoot with son sparks outrage. So Yahoo Life says it sparked outrage, and that outrage obviously isn't from Corey Holcomb. That has to be from just general people. And this goes all the way back to February 2017. Okay. So is this a offensive picture for mothers or parents? I already got my opinion just that fast. I don't need to leave it up just in case, YouTube, just in case I got to clip that piece later on. All right, just that fast I can get my opinion on that. On one side, number one, all right, so the boy that's not like a newborn, right? That boy looked like he was maybe 1-2 years old, 3 the max, right? He's wearing little Jordan sneakers. He had shorts on. I saw the little green there. So he had shorts on. And the reason why I brought up the shorts is because if it was a newborn, skin to skin, bear to bear, from a mother to a child, especially, is 1000% accepted, right? Skin to skin could either further soothe a newborn or a baby. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, I know in society there are double standards about man and woman, father and mother. So if you know where I'm going with that, I'm going to just go to the mother side and say that's another reason with this young little boy, 1-2 years old, it's kind of acceptable. Okay, she has no bra on, it's chest. Okay, kids breastfeed. Now, that kid is way too old to be looking like he's probably still breastfeeding. But I'm just saying, I don't have a problem with the picture. Could she have had underwear on with a kid that size? That's the only thing. That's the only thing. And the second thing that I shouldn't say the only thing. The second thing that I would say is I think it'd be a very motherly and son moment to capture for memories, but you probably don't need that picture to the entire world. Not everything is for the world. That's where Jess probably slipped up the most there. Like, you don't become a celebrity or anybody and live your life for the public. Denzel keeps trying to tell us this. Like, you don't live your life for the public, people. So, of all the pictures you could put out to show how much you are enjoying motherhood, that one you could have just kept for you and your family. Because I'm really saying that there's really not too much. There could be some people that feel like the borderline once again, because you don't like, but I'm okay with the picture. I'm okay with it for the reasons that I said. But even if I'm okay with it, I'm not putting it out to the public. Like, keep that one to your family. So if that started it, okay. But he's been there on his shit ever since 2017. Then I'm going to assume.
I'm just letting it be known on my little punk ass podcast. Less hilarious out of all them internet comics. Less hilarious is probably the worst one. So eat a dick, bitch. Now, back to the real shit. Let's talk about women who use their children as accessories on the internet. Let's talk about this. Because
the wild thing about me playing this clip is I had this clip already ready to go for us today in this particular live. But one thing that I didn't have and I didn't think about was pulling up the actual picture, which I just did. And what bugs me out is what he's saying right now is going to now give a take on how people may feel about the picture. I wonder if he's going to undo the opinion that I just put up. Interesting. All right, let's check this out.
Because this is where it all started. When Les Hilarious used her child as an accessory on the internet, basically imposing that child's life to the game. The internet is something that some of us have found a way to eat off of, but the internet is not bad is a bad thing for humanity in a lot of ways. The internet for humanity is bad. This woman took her clothes off, made her son take his clothes off, and posed for the internet. Her child was an accessory. What kind of moral person does that? If I had a child, I would hide my child from the internet. I'm trying to build a career on the internet. What am I finna grab my baby and put my baby out there? Because everybody that's out there on the internet is subject to ridicule.
Right.
People lie on you because lying is nothing in society no more.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. Lying is not something that people lose sleep over or think twice about. So I'm out here on the internet. I'm subject to ridicule in all kinds of ways.
Right.
Because people call me liar. People call me alcoholics. People call me, I think they want to say deadbeat dad, but they can't. Because I ain't never been somebody who ain't umped their kid in the ass for mine, except my son. The reason I ain't really getting no money like that for my son, because his mama was a woman who is of outstanding resources. She found a way to become self-made. I'm so proud of my son, mother, and how she had my back, and I got her back. I got my son mother's back so bad. When she got a boyfriend, I stopped going around.
Yeah.
And we all know how baby mama and baby daddy things go.
I do this live, people. I'm not scripted. I do this live with y'all. Some people tell me that's one of my talents, to be able to get up here. I have bloggers that tell me that, like y'all, it would be dope if I could just, like, you have a skill about you. Like, niggas be having to record and edit and do different takes and script, and I do it live right here on the spot with y'all. I think my opinion is it took a small hit just now. My opinion. I think I'm still very strong on my opinion that I just said 3 minutes ago. But he offered another perspective that wasn't a part of the point I was making, which is the accessory. It kind of is cousins to what I was saying, because I said, if it was me personally, I could look at that from a maternal and a little kid standpoint, and I can get by with the picture. I'm like, okay, the picture's okay for me. Like, I could see some little with certain people is like, I have a problem with it, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay. I'm cool. But it definitely should have been private. That's not a public one. So now when Corey comes up here and he says his perspective is that you use that child as an accessory in the moment. I'm gonna leave that one for the chat and for the comments below, because that's not even while I brought all of those clips up, because me bringing up the article itself from 2017 with the picture was in flight, so that's not the topic to me. I don't know. I might look at the comments of this video later on and see if that's something that we should double back with as this whole Jess Hilarious and the Breakfast Club thing continues to play out. Because that was really my main topic on this, because I see it's moving around a little bit. But Jess, overall, it doesn't seem like she's in a good spot at the Breakfast Club. You see the articles and the pictures going around of, like, they had a recent guest over, I think it was Wendy Williams, and she's sitting over there scrolling her Instagram as if she's disconnected. The Breakfast Club as a platform is corporate America. Whether you have an Instagram following or not, whether you're a comedian or not, whether you already have a public persona or presence already or not, the fans and then other elements as well that could be riding your heels, like an academics on a little baby, or academics on Meek Mill, or Corey Holcomb, who has a platform on Jess Hilarious. These are problems. The Breakfast Club is corporate America. They are a business. They will see this girl Lauren coming in there. First, they will see she does a good job. Hey, as far as the key players, do you guys like her? Do you guys mind working with her? Envy, you like working with her? Yeah. Charlamagne, you like working with her? Yeah, she's good. Okay, check there. She's doing a good job. Check. She's smart. Check. She fits. Check. Okay, cool. Jess Hilarious. Does she do a good job? This girl's presence could match Jess Hilarious' presence if she just sits on the Breakfast Club for 6 months. She'll have the following just from being there. So it's like, then you got voices, Corey, anti-Jess so much. Now the fans coming in like, oh, Lauren is exposing her for not being able to read that well. And that's a big piece of when it's the camera swings your way to say, all right, so let me tell y'all what's going on, blah, 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 blah. It's like, Jess isn't in a good spot. It's not in a good spot. Now, if we're going to mention corporate America, I'll leave y'all with this. Corporate America, you're supposed to be able to go on paternity or maternity leave and come back to your job, right? And we're going to be corporate America. You got to be careful from an HR standpoint. Jess Hilarious fuck around and put a lawsuit on you. But, that's where the legal department in these big corporate America companies come in. And that's where HR comes in to build up a case, to constitute you being laid off or let go or fired. Like, hey, you're not doing your job that well. You being fired has nothing to do with you being away on maternity leave. You might think that you lost your spot while away on maternity leave, but that's not why you got fired. You got fired because we got guests up here like Wendy Williams, and you're scrolling your Instagram. You look disconnected. You look to have an attitude these days. We brought somebody else in. You guys aren't meshing that well. You and Lauren seem to have a little bit of an energy. The way you're talking these days, you know what? It's not working out. That'll be, the write-up from HR. It won't be like no, you get your ass sued if you try to fire her because of her leaving on maternity leave. But that still could be the root of it, because it's like cause and effect. You leave away, somebody else comes in to fill in, and they show how good of a job they do, which also then puts light on possibly how subpar of a job you were doing. Corporate America is always going to be interesting to me. And corporate America also ties into Stephen A. Smith giving his 3rd round blackout on Gilbert Arenas podcast, but couldn't talk like that on ESPN. Look how I brought that full circle for y'all. Good morning. Enjoy y'all Wednesday. We'll be back.
Don't confuse silence with work ethic. I'm a boss, making decisions my first fetish. The verse cherished is perfect, that's a reverse blemish. I dropped it, connected the block, learn Tetris.
This is the Sorry True Podcast. Welcome to the house of. And shout out to the members.